Hey guys, welcome to another video from the PC Broker. I'm Jason. This weather today we're having in Los Angeles is just fantastic. It recently stopped raining, and it is just the most beautiful weather right now. So I'm doing my videos outside today. So this Black Friday and Cyber Monday, you're probably gonna be looking for a new gaming PC or a gaming PC for your kid, whatever have you. And I just did some looking around recently, and what you can actually get these days for 600 bucks, 700 bucks is really amazing. It really is. Back during COVID, I remember people were spending anywhere from $1,500 to $4,000 for a gaming system, and it's quite amazing what you can actually get for 600 bucks. A few things before I start is, and this is just across the board, no matter what you're getting, you always want to set a budget, because sometimes budgets can just get out of hand if you're not paying attention. And this is mostly the case with PC builds, because people get excited and they want to get the best of the best. You should always have a set budget as far as like what your maximum is, as far as what your total amount is going to be all in. Another thing that I like to recommend for people is watch some videos to get like a current market update of what to expect. I'll leave a link in the description. There's a guy who does videos. He's called PC Builder, and he goes over every month like what the prices are and what you can get for specific budget levels. He just recently did a video about the memory prices and how they've spiked up, and what kind of things to expect for the holiday season. So definitely watch some of his videos, because they'll kind of get you up to speed on what some of the prices are. And also, even if you're not planning to buy a gaming PC from a big box store, you can get a good sense of some of the sales that they're running. So you just have like a general idea of like what you can get for 600 bucks or 700 bucks. So with that being said, let's get into it. So the first thing I want to do is go over, like, let's say you're getting a new PC, right? You want to set some minimums or things that you should buy or could buy and things that you shouldn't buy. And I'm not going to get into very specifics. I'm kind of just generally speaking. So if you're getting a new system, you should be able to get an AM5 AMD platform at a decent, reasonable price this season. I would say a 7000 series or a 9000 series Ryzen CPU. Intel, I would probably stick with the Core Ultra CPUs, preferably the what do they call it? The second generation Ultra, or I think it's called something. I think it's called Gen 2, or it's the second generation of the Core Ultra series. As far as the GPU, I would stick with probably a RTX 4000 or a 5000 series. I wouldn't go lower than that. And on the AMD side, I would stick with an RX 7000 or 9000 series GPU. And I'd probably make sure you get at least 8 gigabytes of RAM on the lower end builds and 16 gigabytes of RAM on the better builds. And that can all depend on the games that you're playing. But there's a lot of games that don't support 8 gigabytes anymore. You need 12 or 16 gigabytes for some games to even run. So on the higher tier gaming stuff, make sure it's like 12 or 16 gigabytes of VRAM. And I would set a minimum of the RAM to 32 gigabytes. It used to be 16 was the base, but really now a lot of games prefer 32. And stuff that you don't want to get whatsoever is, I would not get Intel 13th gen or 14th gen systems, new or used. Those CPUs are known to have issues, and if you buy one of those, you could be in a world of hurt if you have a system that goes bad and you have to issue a warranty RMA, and you got to return it and deal with all that BS, which could take weeks. Don't go there. Don't get an Intel 13th gen or 14th gen CPU. On the used side, when I'm talking about used, generally I'm talking about a budget of 200 to 500 bucks, maybe 600 tops. Some people do go out and buy a used gaming PC that might have some really nice specs in the $1,000 range, but generally speaking, most of the people that I deal with, they're looking for something that's $500 or less, because they know that when you get stuff that's brand new, for what you get in the $600, $700, just can't match a used system. It's just way better, and I'm going to show you that in the later on in this video. So as far as used, I would stick on the AMD side. I would stick with an AM4 platform that's a 3000 series Ryzen or a 5000 series Ryzen, or if you can get your hands on an AM5 system, in the $200 to $500 range, that'd be pretty awesome. On the Intel side, I would stick with an Intel 10th gen or higher. I really wouldn't go below that. You can get away with a 9000 series Intel, but I would just say, just based on the prices and some of the good deals you can get, I would say stick with the 10th gen or higher. And the 11th gen is going to support the PCIe 4.0, so keep that in mind. And again, don't buy a system that's 14th gen or 13th gen Intel. Just don't do it. And on the GPU side, it really depends on the price range, but I would just make sure you get a GPU that's fairly current. And when I say current, I mean on the low end, like a GTX 1650 4GB or a 1660 Super 6GB or any 8GB cards would be a good starting point, and then you could always upgrade later. And if you're thinking about doing builds, specifically used builds, one thing you definitely want to stay away from all the time is don't buy untested hardware, especially untested motherboards on some of the marketplaces like Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp. I've had so many customers buy something from somebody and then they bring it to me and it doesn't work, and now they can't get their money back. So they thought they were getting a good deal. It might have been like 50 bucks, and now they got to go to Amazon or wherever and get it again. And it really sucks. It's a waste of time. And unless you can somehow test it, or the seller can test it for you, show you that it works, or if it's a shop and you can actually go there, and you can go back there if there's issues. But if not, just get it on. You can get used motherboards on websites like Amazon, eBay, Jawa. All those online retailers, even though it's a used piece of hardware, they have buyer and seller protection. So if you buy something and it doesn't work, you can return it, and you can get a new replacement unit, or you can get your money back if that's what you wanted to do. So always be aware of that when you're buying stuff. So guys, here we are. I'm just showing you some websites that I ran into the other day. I got Micro Center here, and these are things you probably want to check out before you start shopping around. You get an AMD Ryzen 5 8400, so it's an AM5 platform, 16 gigs of DDR5 RAM, RX 7600 graphics card, 1 terabyte SSD, 2.5 gig Ethernet, 650 bucks. Can't go wrong there. Yeah, they had another one here. It's a Ryzen 5 7600X, 16 gigs DDR5. You got 7600 graphics card, 1 terabyte SSD, 750. So you get a little bit better of a CPU there. But these are great deals. I mean, it's a system you can't go wrong with. For an entry level system, you can have good performance. Decent system. Definitely something to think about. And this price recently went up, but somebody sent me this, and it was $11.99 a day or two ago. But I was looking at what you actually get for $11.99 for $1,200 was pretty amazing. You had a Ultra 7 265, NVIDIA 5060 16 gigabyte, which is the one you want if you do get the 5060. 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, 2 terabyte SSD. I mean, awesome system all around. Everything's new. DDR5 RAM. Can't go wrong there. I wouldn't pay $1,600 for this, but if you get it in the $1,200 range, it's definitely a good deal. And definitely don't forget about Costco. You can get some really good deals here at Costco. I haven't really gone through this a whole lot, but they're always going to have at least 1 or 2 systems that are priced well. And then I forgot to mention earlier, laptops. You got really good stuff here at the entry level. You have like the Acer Nitro. It's got a Ryzen 5 processor. A lot of these have a 4050 or a 5050 graphics card. DDR5 RAM, 16 gigabytes. So here we get the HP Victus 13th Gen i5, which the laptop version of the 13th Gen doesn't have the same problems that the higher end 13th Gen do. So this in this case it's okay. You get 16 gigs of RAM, 512 SSD, and this one I believe it's a RTX 4050. If you get a laptop, make sure it's a RTX 4050 or higher. The 3050, while it's still a decent card, that one only had 4 gigabytes of RAM, whereas the 4050 has 6, and I think the 5050 has 8. I had to double check on that one. But all sorts of good deals here. And these might go down. I don't even know. So I don't even know if these are the final low prices. And so if you're doing your own build, I'd probably start with a website like PC Part Picker. You can put together your build. The only real recommendation I give people when they're doing their own build is get the motherboard that you're going to be happy with, because it's a pain in the ass to change out the motherboard later on if you're going to think about upgrading it or changing it out. And get the case that you're going to like. If you're looking at cases that are $50 and you really like the one that's $100, get the $100 case, because again, it's like redoing your build all over again if you want to swap out the case. I get people calling me all the time to swap the case out, and when I tell them it's going to cost $200, they usually all of a sudden they're like, what? How come it's so much? Well, I basically have to redo your build for you. So get a nice case that you're going to be happy with. It has like good airflow. It's metal and glass. It doesn't have like plastic. You're happy with it. It looks nice. And there's different styles. There's like the aquarium style that looks really cool, or there's smaller, slim cases. But get the one you're going to be happy with. Bottom line. So guys, I hope you liked this video. If you found it useful, definitely give me a thumbs up, and subscribe if you want to see some more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.